Must be nice.
Yeah, he works hard, plays hard, life twice. Rips a jet boat down a glass green slice. From the dunes to the docks, he's rolling dice. Living life loud, must be nice.
Here it is, must be nice. You see the legend car on the lift. Steering's all taken apart. I got the new knuckle on this side. Old knuckles are off. Here's the old knuckles. Like I said, they're kind of janky. It was almost like home built, but it's almost like a trailer spindle was welded to a flat plate. Pretty ingenious, to be honest with you. If you look, these are just little round, I don't know, bushings that they just welded on. But yeah, pretty ingenious. They worked. But this is the one that actually bent when I hit the curb. So we'll put the new knuckles on, which they're billet. They're nice. They're sweet unit. And honestly, stupid cheap, man. I think the whole setup was like $300. And if this was side by side, this would be like $1,000 right here. So pretty impressed with that. There's the rotor. All this is all a sweet setup. This whole car is a sweet setup. Well, so basically what I'm going to have to do here is take this knuckle where factory it's, this hole right here. And I'm going to, which I've already done this one, but I'm going to drill the hole to bring it in more. So in turn, here's what we're trying to achieve here. Obviously my rack's going to be stuck with the same movement as what I have. So if I drill this hole farther down, the same movement equals more movement out here as opposed to being out here farther. My dilemma I had was these lower control arms factory. This is actually the passenger side and the driver's side is now on the passenger side. But basically this is flipped over. Now you can see the shock is sitting atop of this lower control arm bar as opposed to being below, which in turn gives me a little more space for this, which you can see I'm still gonna make a spacer for it to clear the shock once I get this all bolted on. But basically that's my plan of attack. You can see what I'm gonna end up fighting here. My limit is gonna be it touching the inside header here. So I'll get it to go as far as I can. Probably gonna end up having to run a 1-inch wheel spacer, get a different offset wheel eventually, but look at the coilovers around these things. It's like a shock with this sleeve that just slides over and then you put the coil spring. Pretty neat setup. Frame's real cool. 1200 Yamaha. Basically it's set up with a drive shaft as opposed to a sprocket. This is where your sprocket would bolt to on the motorcycle, hydraulic clutch. Pretty sick setup, but hold the line. I'll get to work. I'll fill you in on the interesting stuff and go from there. All right, so I got one side done, mocked up. I'm obviously still gonna have to put it on the ground to do caster camber. I think I'm gonna try to shoot for like a -3 or 4 on the camber and probably like a -3 on the caster. Maybe if someone can chime in a little bit of knowledge of say what you'd shoot for drift car numbers, but that's just kind of what I got in my head of what it should be. Maybe toe will be towed out. I'm probably 1/8 inch, probably where I'll land. But look at how close it is with the spacer to the wheel weight. It is close, but you know what they say, might as well be a mile, baby. Close on the shock. Unfortunately, the tire's hitting there. And like I said earlier, I think with a wheel spacer, it'll bring it out. The only thing I got to worry about is it say clipping this fender, which I can trim that up a little bit there if I need to do so. But all in all, pretty straightforward. Flip the lower control arm, make this spacer. Like I said, I end up having to adjust this way out. And then what I did for the upper, just to try to give me a starting point, I just counted out the turns of this nut, ran this ball joint out, did that on both sides, and that's what I landed on. Seeing I still got a little leak, pinion seal's leaking on this thing. That's evidence of it right there. And I had a weird deal. This booger of a weld's all for me. For some reason, this little tab ended up cracking the rear end housing. And this is like the thinnest rear end housing I've ever welded on, but that rear end housing cracked and it was causing a little oil leak, which it looks like it might be still leaking. So I'm not sure what's going on there, but give her a little love. Give you the whole underbody of this girl. It's pretty cool. The frame actually goes underneath the rear end. Like that's how they're set up. And actually factory, the universal joint hits before it actually frames out, which I end up cutting this notch and putting a sleeve in here just to make it more supportive. Just to try to allow this to say if I were to quote unquote jump it or the tires were to leave the ground, I'd be able to do so. But like there's a lot of funny things where like I think this is how it came factory for the pan arm bar is literally just another threaded bushing there welded onto the frame. Everything's simple. I think it weighs 1,100 pounds. They say they make 140 horsepower, I believe is what it's supposed to make. Cool car. She's getting back together. She's on the ground. I actually cheated. I drove her up and down the driveway. That way I could let the suspension settle back in. I'm gonna do caster camber toe. You can see it's a little towed out on this side. But like I said, I'm gonna try to shoot for say 1/8 inch towed out. We'll go -3 degrees camber and we'll call it 3 degrees caster is what I think I've landed on when trying to set this thing up for first go. But look at the steering angle now, man. We got a lot more. You see the old cockpit of the old girl. Nothing special. She's there. That sticker. All right. Look at the steering angle on this thing. Way more than what we had. Look at that. Would you look at it? And then on this way, turn it all the way this way. Actually, with no wheel spacer, it is hitting the header there. Or maybe it's not. Yeah, it's hitting. Just barely hitting it full lock. So, pretty well set up. Look at that, might as well be a mile. We already know we're gonna eat that thing up. But man, pretty easy setup. I think ultimately, this should be a huge improvement. I'll go over caster camber toe, show you the gauge, how to set it up. I'll probably only do camber right now. My caster gauge, the tilt plates or turn plates rather, they're about 1.5 inches off, high. Well, if I were to set it up with nothing in the rear, the car would obviously be squatting about 1.5 inches. So I need to set up a rig so the back can be at the same level. So I can get an accurate measurement on that. Hopefully she runs good. The last time I drove it, it's been about a month, I guess. So we'll see. This gas nowadays really sucks, especially with these old carb motors, but see if she runs. Just like I said, I jinxed myself, and honestly, I was aggravated. I just ripped the mop up. The carburetors were clogged. I ended up having to re-clean them things out for about the 10th time with this thing. The pilot jet's about the size of a pin hair. I think it's literally 18 thousandths thick. But so with that, I was able to sleep on it, and I came up with what I want to come up with numbers and why and my reasoning for it, and how I can come up with them numbers a lot easier than them caster turn plates that I was talking about earlier. So we got it set up. This is how we're gonna do toe, and this is basic, but I just want to show it for the guys that didn't know. Easy toe plates is what they're called. So basically on the back, I got 60 3/8. On the front, I got 60 1/2. So I'm an 1/8 inch toed out on the front. So that's meaning, so if my wheels are exact, this would be 0 exactly straight, toed out, toed in, just to give you a reference. So I'm toed out 1/8 of an inch. To be able to find my caster, instead of having to do 10-degree sweep and all that stuff, there's actually a flat piece on this spindle, and I was rewatching my video, and this is how I came up with this. This flat piece, so if I zero this out, now you've got to think 90 would be 0 here. So zero it out, boom, and I'm at 86.4 degrees. So 86.4, that gives me 3.6 degrees of positive caster. That means, like I said, the top ball joint is back from the lower ball joint. Positive caster is back, negative caster is forward. That's how I'm gonna try to set this thing up. The other side's really close to these numbers, but I'm just showing you reference on one side because I'm ready to rip this thing. I'm excited about all this. You know, Draggy reached out to me, sent me one of their Draggy Pros. Now they gave me a promo code, so, and it's like perfect timing for Christmas. We're gonna end up downloading the go-kart track on there. So like, I'm pumped up, excited about all this. So we'll set up to do the camber. This gauge, just cool little gauge. Basically, you zero it out before you start with the ground you go, so that it just got a bubble level here. And if you want to come over here, I'll show you. So like we're at 0 now, the little bubble in there. We'll just adjust this out to the outside of the wheel or the flat face. And like pretty much every wheel, you can come up with something that's gonna give you a, you know, solid measurement here. Put it in. And if you come right here, see I'm right at 3 1/4 degrees. A little over 3 1/4 degrees, which that side's about the same, and we're gonna call that close enough so I can go rip it. But just to give you a reference, how I end up getting that is I just adjusted that upper control arm. Bringing it in obviously gives you more camber, or negative camber rather, and bringing it out will give you positive camber. The theory in that is your outside tire does all the work, so if more camber in, if you're making a left-hand corner, your right-hand tire does all the work. So in theory, while you lean over, now you get more contact patch with the tire. There's some smarter people out there to be able to explain it a lot better than me, but that's just a generic explanation. Let's get out there and rip the Holly Hill Humbler, baby, come on. All right, so Legend Car's out. Carburetor's cooperating with me. She's running good. About to make a rip. I got the track dialed in. I mentioned the Draggy to you earlier. I want to kind of just show you a quick little how easy it is to set this thing up. So I'm just going to pull up the app, Draggy Lap, because we're running on a track here. You can see all the local tracks near me, which my track's about to be on there, but we're going to connect. As soon as it connects, it's going to search for a satellite here in a second. Searching for satellite. Then I'm going to go right here to tracks. These are my stored tracks. So I got the Holly Hill Humbler. Start, finish line. Basically start, go around, come back up. We ain't got it dialed in that make it official track, but I want to show you, say my history, and you could see a previous run and the actual layout of the track. Where it goes. These are all my slower points from previous laps. The green is faster points. Red's obviously slower, yellow is neutral. But pretty cool, got it dialed in. It's right here on the front. I'll pull up to the line. I already got, like I said, the track stored. So now we'll just go back to here to tracks. Boom, tracks, Holly Hill Humbler. We'll click go. And then we're ready to go. So as soon as I pull up the line, it'll actually give me a time frame of, say, if I was faster or slower compared to my fastest lap. But hold the line. Let me get suited up, which means put my rad ass helmet on the kid don't like and get going. Come on. So I don't know if I gave you full details of the Holly Hill Humbler. I'm gonna give you a quick synopsis. And these are the rules that everybody's got to follow, including myself. You get 2 passes every 12 hours, period. That's it, per vehicle, not per driver. So if you bring a bunch of rowdy toys to my house, you might be able to make 20 passes back to back, but 2 per vehicle per 12 hours. I got 2 classes. It's going to be either hauled in, which means it was on a trailer, back of a truck or something like that, or driven in, which means you literally drove it from your destination to here. I don't want you to pulling up at the road and calling it driven in, because this is going to evolve to where that list is going to be so long, from rental cars to, I bet you if we get some off-road roller skates out here, I'll get a time on them too. So we dialed it all in. We finally got, like I said earlier, the track all good. Everything's good. I'm excited. We'll make a couple passes with this thing and see what we got. $23.9 is the first one. got a 23.91 the first time, and then a 23.86 the second time. And I left in the first time I left in second gear, the second time I left in first gear. So, but this thing's rad. It's like, it's intimidating because I could see the red. I don't have it loaded up, but I could see the red as I was coming around the corner of like me behind. So I knew I had to lay into it on the straightaway. Like I missed the shift on the entry. But here's the deal with the Holly Hill Humbler. Like I told you, you get 2 times every 12 hours. So I'm done. Like, these are my times. This is what I locked in. I'm going to abide by my own rules. It's easy for me to sit here and beat the clock and keep trying to practice. Half the fun of it is the spontaneous, just jump in and see what you can run. I really could have changed setup, I guess, after the first one made setup changes, but I'm just excited to run this thing and see what I could do. The steering is definitely a big help. Like when I came around there, I messed up my entry, so I had to turn a little harder than I wanted to, and which made me, counter steering a lot more. Before I would have spun out. Well, I was able to drive through it on it now, so big improvement on the steering. Put down a pretty reasonable time in the Legend car yesterday, 23.86. I still think we're gonna get in the 18s and 19s, but I just got a call from my buddy Andy. He's in town. He's buying a DRZ, so he's like, I think I might swing by and show you the bike I got. Well, I'm gonna have him run the Holly Hill Humbler, and I got a Honda Spree Iowa edition. If you don't know what that is, you're about to find out. I'm gonna put a lap down on it, and I'm sure it's gonna run a real heater. See what Andy can run compared to the Legend car. Stay tuned, baby. Come on. I'm gonna go get my helmet on and get ready, and I'll give you some fastest thing in the freaking shop right here. That's all she's got. Oh boy. Oh man, my phone. One. That's all she had. 33.61. I don't know if the Spree's gonna be able to handle much more of that. Those old girls struggling. I need to clean out the pilot jet in, I think what's going on. The Spree goes too fast. Like it's not fast, but it's too fast, like for what it is. We got Andy suited up, got the Draggy mounted. This is his run right here. See what he's got. Here he goes, going 3 tires. Tripping at. We'll go see what the Draggy tells us. This is like a scale. I don't even know where anything's gonna scale. Like I said, my guess, I think we're gonna be in the 19s with something real rowdy. Let's see what we got here. What we got?
26.8.
Oh yeah. Yeah, just picked up another lap. You just passed the start. But see, it's cool when now you're 6 seconds, 7 seconds behind your old lap. You're already way behind schedule. That was a good run though. On straight street tires, you can see it's slick as could be. This gives us a baseline for the Holly Hill Humber. Oh yeah, he's all fired up now. He done beat my time on the Spree. Here it is, the Holly Hill Humbler board, ghetto just like Holly Hill on a dry erase board. Hopefully I can church that up, maybe make it a little cooler as we progress. But we only got 3 things on there right now. Like you've seen Andy run, you've seen the Spree run, and you've seen the legend car run. The legend car is the fastest time so far with a 23.86. And I kind of made an executive decision. I'm gonna put all my rides right here because I could drive them in or trailer them all in. I really don't care. So that really don't fit on the category of anything but just lives here. Andy hauled in the DRZ. He was wanting to be on the driven list because it is capable of being driven here, but he didn't haul it here. He just bought it and it was on the back of his truck. So that's categories in. He's top dog on that list right now and the only guy right now. But I promise you, we're gonna get this list stacked up. We'll have a variety of cars and a variety of rad stuff on here. I'm excited about this, but keep watching, baby. Come on.